Yes, yes.
You have failed me for the last time.
So I haven't been really keeping up with anything Star Wars related since like 2017.
That's how we're gonna win. Not fighting what we hate. Saving what we love.
Dumb bitch.
But a couple days ago, I decided to check out that one new Star Wars show, the one that everybody loves, only because it kept showing up as ads on just every YouTube video. So I figured, why not? The poster and trailer looked pretty cool. Well, at least to me. So now it's probably a good time to jump back in, see what I've been missing out on for the past couple of years. I think I made it through maybe like 2 or 3 episodes, and then I thought to myself, this shit's terrible. Like, player 456 can't even save this right now.
Power 1.
What?
The power of 2. What the hell is even that? Power of many.
What happened to Star Wars, man? Like, Rogue One was one of my favorite movies from the franchise, so why not just keep making more of that shit?
I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me.
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
I actually disliked the show so much that right after watching it, I went straight to my PC, logged into GOG, and re-downloaded the game from 20 years ago, just so I could forget about the whole thing. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, or KOTOR 2, was a game developed by Obsidian back in 2004. The same team behind games like Neverwinter Nights 2, South Park The Stick of Truth, and Fallout New Vegas.
What the fuck are you doing? My brother died at the Battle of Hoover Dam. You're desecrating a war memorial. Oh, now it's on.
KOTOR 2 is a turn-based RPG set in the Star Wars universe. The only difference is the setting taking place just a couple of years before the original trilogy, prequel trilogy, and the sequel trilogies. Despite being made 20 years ago, it's still a very enjoyable experience, even if it can be buggy and feels unfinished at times.
Yeah? Well, how much water you get from a stone depends what planet you're on.
Though the game was developed by Obsidian, KOTOR 2 reused many of the assets from the first game, which was made by BioWare because of the time constraints. So basically kinda like how New Vegas is to Fallout 3. Despite its performance issues, everything else about the game is just almost perfect. KOTOR 1 and 2 were the first Star Wars related games that I've ever played, and this was way before Disney got a hold of it, so Star Wars wasn't as prominent as it is now. It was after finishing the 2 games that I became so hyper-fixated on Star Wars. I started reading into all the lore and shit, watched pretty much all the mainline movies, and I even joined a Star Wars shitpost group. Oh, sorry, I mean Sith post group. Yeah, it says right there. Both games left a huge impact on me, especially KOTOR 2, because at the time I was only used to playing shooter games. So when I first played KOTOR 1, it altered my taste for video games completely, switching me from an average shooter fan to a more RPG one.
RPG! RPG! Well, if you say so.
Both games kind of share like a morality system. You lean more towards the light side, either by being a good person who tries to help everyone they can, or just, picking the nice guy speech options. Good things will come back to you, obviously.
Thank you, stranger. I won't forget your kindness.
But at the same time, if you choose to lean more towards the dark side, well then it's just more fun being a dick sometimes. Combat of the game is turn-based, and I really didn't mind that at all. I grew up playing the Pokemon games, so I was used to it. If anything, it was a nice change of pace from the fast action-oriented games that I was used to. And that ending, she was. While KOTOR 1 follows a more traditional way of Star Wars storytelling, KOTOR 2 tries to be a little bit different. The lead writer of KOTOR 2, Chris Avalon, wanted the game to be more morally gray, I guess.
I mean, the best parts about Star Wars is there is no good or evil.
Yeah, that's not what I meant.
I guess I'd be gray, but my lightsaber would be red.
Just forget it. While I understand that there's nothing wrong with the established theme of Star Wars, it is nice to just have another layer on top of the decisions for the players to make. Despite my praises, KOTOR 2 performance issues and the unfinished state that it's in keeps it from being a 10 out of 10 game. No, that title goes to oblivion, but that's a conversation for another day. If you do plan on playing KOTOR 2, I highly recommend you install the Restore Content mod, which brings back many of the cut contents that was left out of the game. Trust me, it's a completely different game you play without it. Better yet, find a guide that someone has put together. Personally, I went on ahead and used this one right here, which was previously a post on the subreddit of KOTOR, but has now since become his own thing. It's pretty easy to install, and at the same time allows you to pick and choose which mods to get. KOTOR 2 actually received an official patch a couple years back that adds widescreen and controller support to the game. The patch is far from perfect, however, as it breaks a couple of features that I've noticed, such as working lightsabers textures, and Wookiees no longer make footsteps when walking. I recommend you get the patch anyway, just to save yourself the trouble of going through the widescreen mod and whatnot. It'll save you some time. So, with all that background information, in this video I'll be going over the first few parts and levels of KOTOR 2, while sharing my thoughts about the game and whatever else throughout. Keep in mind that I am a casual when it comes to most video games, so I might miss out some stuff here and there. I'll try my best to point out as many things as possible though, just so you don't miss out on anything important, if you decide to play the game yourself. This won't be an hour-long deep dive or anything like that, but rather a quick showcase of what the franchise is capable of when the people involved gives a shit. I guess you can call it a elegant product.
For a more civilized age.
After starting the game, you might notice that the character creation menu is pretty bare bones. Now personally, I'm completely fine with this, as I usually don't pay too much attention to the classes in KOTOR 2, or just most RPGs in general, because most of the time I really don't care enough. My simple mind does not have the capacity, nor the attention span, to comprehend the
Sacred Jedi text!
It doesn't really matter though, because the classes in KOTOR 2 are basically the same, and the game is relatively easy. So far to my knowledge, every class can use the same force powers and use the same weapons. The only difference that I've noticed is that when you get to your secondary class, some feats, which are kind of like perks in this game, are locked out. Look, it's a Star Wars game. Unless you decide to run a Han Solo playthrough or something, by the end of the game, you're gonna be running around hitting people with your lightsabers. So with that being said, I usually just pick Sentinel, because they're like a jack of all trades, but you can really just pick whatever class you want. Make sure though, whatever class you pick, that you grab the effective mind power and the dominant mind power, just for some extra interactions.
Your brutality grows tiresome.
Originally, I was going to be playing as a Wookiee. However, I couldn't get it to work properly. I somehow fucked it up, got mad at the game, modded it out of spite, and then ended up having to reinstall it twice. So yeah, apologies. No space dogs for this video.
My dog!
Fun fact, after that little sequence of events, my PC decided that its time had come and proceeded to died. Actually, it was my boot drive that stopped working, which in turn also fried my motherboard and killed my PSU. Fun stuff. Good night, sweet prince. Anyways, right after creating your character, you're met with and the usual space to ship transition. The ship you see is the very same from the first one, the Ebon Hawk. The ship's fucked. You're tasked with fixing it as T3, a droid and a returning party member from the first game.
The Ebon Hawk is adrift in space after a terrible battle. Most of its crew are dead or dying. You lie in the medical room in critical condition. You won't survive long without medical attention. Your fate and that of the Ebon Hawk depend upon T3M4, a lone astromech droid. Return to this location at any time to skip the prologue.
Fourth wall break.
This is essentially a short tutorial level to show newcomers how to play, and at the same time a refresher for players that are coming back from the first KOTOR. You actually have the option to skip it altogether, which is something I usually do. What you can't skip, however, is what comes next. Paragus. This is basically an even bigger tutorial that covers everything else that the first tutorial hasn't gone over. It could be a lot better, man. Like, I don't hate it, but I definitely don't love it. I had no idea what you were supposed to do here when I first played it, because I barely read any of the dialogue. I kept skipping over them.
Oh, and I almost forgot.
Yeah, you don't actually get a lightsaber out of the bat in this game. Depending on if you know where to go or not, it could take you from like 2 to 3 hours just to get all the parts to be able to make one. Maybe the game was just trying to teach me patience or some shit. Who knows? Anyways, while you're floating around, you hear a woman's voice telling you,
"Awake."
Your character then somehow teleports to the outside of the tank, and from here on the game finally starts. You then go through a room that happens to be a morgue. Here you can get caught 5-finger discounting a corpse by Kreia.
Find what you're looking for amongst the dead.
Oh my God! The dead has risen!
What the hell? Kreia was the one that was talking to you while you were inside the tank, and she happens to be one of the party members in KOTOR 2. So get used to her since she will be following you throughout the rest of the game.
I am Kreia, and I am your rescuer, as you are mine. Tell me, do you recall what happened? Your ship was attacked. You were the only survivor, a result of your Jedi training, no doubt. So it would seem. Keep your past and let us focus on the now.
I'm not going to be going too deep into the companions of the game because I don't have time. Just know that Kreia will be heavily involved with the themes and the plot points of the game. She's going to be constantly chiming in physically.
I won't forget your kindness.
Why did you do such a thing?
And fucking telepathically.
This is the exit, but it is sealed. Strange. In my visions, it was open.
Giving you lessons on your morality, decisions, and just most of the time, just there to be cryptic as fuck.
Huh? To pick up the government check? What if he got boys that's on the outside? And they stalking you? You see what I'm saying? You got to think, partner. You don't want to...
What the fuck are you talking about?
I like Kreia as a character. And while she constantly gives me shit for the choices in the game, she serves kind of like a mentor, always checking you whenever you start to stray too far from light or dark. After meeting with Kreia, eventually you meet Atton, a prisoner who first seems like a Han Solo type and just an all-around big goof, at least on the surface. He will actually become one of the more interesting party members of the game.
But you have nothing to fear from this one, and he might yet prove useful.
Nice outfit. What, you miners change regulation uniform while I've been in here? Atton Rand. Excuse me if I don't shake hands. The field only causes mild electrical burns.
From here you can actually ask him about the current events that's going on, and your responses actually shape the narrative of what happened in the previous game. The first option here being the bad ending, while the second is the good and canonical ending. Whichever you choose will influence the events for the duration of your playthrough, so choose carefully. After getting Atton out of jail, you're then switched to T3 for about a few minutes or so. As T3, your goal is to try to get power back into the hangars so you can escape Paragus through the Ebon Hawk. Big surprise, it doesn't go as planned, and T3 ends up getting blasted and shelved until near the end of the level. From here you run around Paragus some more, underground Paragus, out of space Paragus.
That's about time. I lost your signal after you left the mining tunnels. Now you're coming in clear.
Except I'm picking you up on the exterior of the facility, on the asteroid's surface. That can't be right.
Huh?
Inside of another ship that's parked next to Paragus. Fun stuff. Oh yeah, that ship came uninvited and there's a Sith Lord on it trying to kill you.
I came.
He has come. This battle is mine alone. I am not defenseless. He cannot kill what he cannot see, and power has blinded him long ago.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
Run! I shall be along shortly.
Anyway...
Quick! We're gonna need some time to fire up the engines. Let's give the laser turret a workout. Alright, let's get out of here!
I have no intention of being left behind. Now, let us leave.
If they hit us, we're dead, but if they keep missing us, we're dead. It's great odds. Somebody shut that trash compactor up!
So at this point, the choices that you make here actually shows up later, as you can be seen as guilty for blowing up Paragus, or proven innocent as it was blown up by the Sith instead. aboard the Ebon Hawk, you can check in with Kreia to make sure that her hand is okay.
Like so many Jedi, you hear, but you do not listen. You have much to learn. But we have spoken long enough, and my wound pains me. If you have other questions, find me in the crew quarters. There we will speak more.
Hey, don't stop your long, boring rants on my account. I was just getting sleepy-eyed.
Also in private, we will be mercifully free from the opinions of imbeciles and fools.
And at the same time, have a conversation with Aden about your missing lightsaber.
How's our passenger? She's still aging?
Shit like that, shit like that.
Whoa, all right, don't get mad at me. Hey, I didn't ask her to stay behind and get her hand cut off, okay? So, what happened? Don't give me that. There were plenty of times back on Paragus where a lightsaber would have been helpful. So where's yours? Oh yeah? I thought a Jedi was supposed to be married to their lightsaber. Guess I heard wrong. Were you a single hilt or one of those double-bladed Jedi?
The choices that you make here actually shows up later on. So if you pick the I don't care and I don't remember option, the lightsaber will actually show up as the science single hilted.
Yeah? Unique how? Must have been something. Sure be nice to have it now.
You'll finally get off the station with Aden, Kreia, and T3, only to be immediately put in jail in a space station above the planet Telos.
I'm Lieutenant Gren, Telos Security Force. I'm under orders to take you into custody in regards to the destruction of the Paragus mining facility.
From there, you'll be accused of blowing up Paragus.
You will be held briefly in the TSF station until living quarters can be arranged, at which point you will be placed under house arrest.
Tell me I'm not going to jail again.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this character later in the video. Telos serve as a transition level to prepare the players for the rest of the game. The missions on Telos are essentially, would you like to exploit what's left of the planets for monetary gains? Or do you try and help the Ithorians with rebuilding the planets after it was devastated by the Jedi War? Anyways, after getting almost assassinated in jail, you are placed under house arrest, where the only thing you can do is meditate to pass the time.
In the meantime, we should rest.
Yeah, you go ahead and meditate. As for me, I could use some sleep.
So basically, if you choose to help the Ithorian and take them up on their healing offer, you actually get a nice bonus to your force points. On the other hand, you don't really get shit for helping Circa, maybe like a few credits or something, which is kind of a bummer for dark side players, but again, it's not that big of a deal. You are then released from your house arrest to freely roam the station, but make sure to go straight to where your weapons are being kept and get them back. This is also where you find out that your ship has been stolen and the Ebon Hawk is somewhere on the planet's surface.
I will call up the appropriate information now. One moment. Searching. One moment. I regret to inform you that the Ebon Hawk is gone.
In order to get to the surface though, you're gonna have to decide to either help the Ithorians or Zerka. There's also a few side activities you can do here while on Telos, such as Pazak or Pazak, swoop racing, you can bust or work for a black market arms dealer, and become a pimp. Here you can also talk to Gren, the guy that arrested you earlier, and get a quest to find a new fuel source for Telos, since the last one kinda blew up.
Tell you what, you find fuel contracts for Citadel Station, and I'll be sure to pay you for it. Soldier's honor.
He also offers you 3 bounties, which will task you with finding out what happened to Batu Ren. Locating a Circa whistleblower, and killing 2 random dudes. Like really, I don't know who they are, they just kinda appear. After delivering the droids, you are asked to deal with the Exchange on Telos. The Exchange is basically a,
The Exchange is a big crime outfit, mostly operate out of Nar Shaddaa. Spice running, gun trafficking, slave trading. Now I guess they're posting bounties on Jedi.
Before entering the compound, you can actually kill the Rodian that's guarding the door up to 4 times.
Sirenti, manama kropaputani Chris. Dosokanki, jiso maranesh insando krapamoletek.
With pleasure.
I do not approve of this alliance we have formed with Chodo Habat and his Ithorians. Habat has an agenda, and he hopes to tie you into it to use you to his own ends. Be that as it may, it would be best if you avoided such needless entanglements. You are too valuable to be caught up in the struggles of this planet. True, he may be able to help us locate the Ebon Hawk, but still, you must be vigilant.
After playing for a while and gaining a specific amount of light or dark side points, the game will actually introduce 2 new characters. The ominous dude is a Sith Lord, and he's sending his apprentice after us.
Do you feel it is a... You are the darkness in which all life dies, my lord. All life exists to feed your power. And my life is yours. I beg you, please. Let me die.
You won't get to see her until after we leave Telos, so this is going to be the last time you're going to see them in this video. So now you're tasked with finding evidence to expose Zerka.
Is there something I can do for you?
Once here, you have 2 options. You can either force persuade or regular persuade him to help you, or you can actually follow him home, threaten him for information, and then kill him.
Who? What are you doing here? I can have Zerka security here in seconds. You don't scare me. Wait! I'll help you! Just don't hurt me. Alright. Other than Jenna Lorso, only B-44 has free access to the mainframe. He's a protocol droid, her administrative assistant. If you controlled B-44, you could walk right in. We've contracted out the maintenance for the office's protocol and utility droids. The guy Chano lives in the apartments in Residential 082, Unit 2B, I think. If you had his credentials, B-44 would leave with you willingly.
Donos Imaragith. Tonoranga Manakaran. Inwamagro. May Rangana Noluta. Donos Imaragith. Loka Kamaran Endoso Ranwi no Chabi.
B4D4, Administrative Assistant for Zerka Corporation's Citadel Station Branch. Those are legitimate credentials. I will accompany you.
After collecting B4D4, you're transported back to the Ithorian compound. As B4D4, your goal is to steal any information from the Zerka mainframe.
Hello, B44. Is there something you need? Oh? Why is that? More credits, you say? That's news I wouldn't mind reporting to the Sector Executive Officer. Please, B44, access away.
You can then convince T1N1 to question his programming.
T1N1, what are you doing out here? You're not supposed to leave the mainframe. I think someone needs a memory wipe.
While accessing the mainframe, you can actually erase B4D4's data from Zerka, setting the droid free. After this is done, go and grab your rewards from the Ithorian. I opted for the healing despite Kreia telling us that we won't be needing it.
You speak well enough, Chodo Habat. But perhaps you see all this as your chance to exert your own hold over others.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, heck.
So anyways, after helping out either side of your choosing and getting off Telos, the shuttle that you're on will actually be shot down.
You can't keep getting away with this! You can't keep getting away with it!
Everyone hold on tight. We should be putting down in a few seconds.
Nope.
Grab onto something. This is about to get rough real fast.
Good to have you back, General.
From there, you'll meet with a Darth Maul-looking dude named Bao-Dur.
Bao-Dur.
Bao-Dur's cool, even though I never really bring him along in my party. His voice just seemed too much like one of those YouTube ASMR videos.
You must be in shock from the crash. Have to expect some long-term memory loss from that. Too bad he's not a droid, huh?
You find out that Bao-Dur actually served with you during the Mandalorian War.
I was one of the Iridonian Mechanic Corps that was at Malachor.
You can tell him that you remember him, or you can just tell him to fuck off.
I can see how you'd forget me, being that I was the only one.
From here, you run into the two bounties that you saw earlier while at Circa. Go ahead and take care of them so that you can return to Telos later and receive payment for the bounty. At the beach, if you have Kreia with you at the time, she will hit you with some more philosophy.
The Force is strong here. Whether Chodo and his herd has anything to do with that is another matter. Can you feel anything? That is good. As a breeze may swiftly turn to a gale, you are slowly beginning to be reopened to the Force.
If you have Atten with you, however.
The Ithorians are truly amazing in their work.
Amazing at wasting the Republic's credits, maybe.
After finishing up with Bao-Dur and getting in another shuttle, I shit you not.
This ain't gonna be no free ride.
Well, this can't be any worse than last time. You've got to be kidding me. It's not my fault.
Egotistic praise. An excellent shot, even with the prevailing winds. I couldn't have done it better myself. Field assessment. I picked up on the heat forms of the Jedi and his allies. Activate the mines and prime the self-destruct sequences.
So yeah, after dealing with the HK units, you're now on some kind of polar snowcap that also happens to be an underground Jedi academy.
Lay down your weapons, and you shall not be harmed. I will not warn you again. Drop your weapons, or we shall take them from you.
Do as they say. I sense people come to no harm. The loss of your weapons shall be a temporary thing only, and it is necessary. There is much to be gained here without violence.
Why is it that everywhere we go, I end up in a cell? I mean, why did they lock us up? What is this place?
It is a training ground for Jedi.
You've got to be joking. What is a Jedi Academy doing out here in the middle of nowhere?
It is a place hidden from the galaxy like the Academy on Dantooine. But this place... Oh, Atris, you have been clever.
Atris?
It's none of your concern.
Well, the sooner we're out of here, the better. 2 crazy Jedi are more than enough for me. No one told me we were going to be dumped in a nest of Jedi.
And what is it about this place that causes you such fear?
What do you mean? We're in the middle of a bunch of Jedi. You know how they are.
No, I do not. Not in the way you seem to.
What are you doing? Get out of my head!
Stop struggling. Let me follow the current. Deep, deeper to its source.
Stop! Ah!
Ah, with the fear is mingled guilt. It squirms in you like a worm. And the why? Ah, and there is its heart. You surprise me. I could not feel it before. Your feelings are a powerful shield indeed. Do not worry, Atten. If he is a Jedi, he will forgive. And if he is not, he will not care.
You can't tell him, please. I'm asking you. I don't want him to...
Think less of you. I hardly think that's possible. Still, there is no shame in what you ask. We all wage war with the past, and it leaves its scars. I will not speak of yours, Atten, but there is a price for such things.
What? What price?
There are those who wage war and those who follow them. You are a crude thing, murderer, but you have your uses. You know how important this man we travel with is. Even one such as you can feel it. You will serve him until I release you.
And if I refuse?
You will not. If you do, then my silence will be broken. And then, Atten, you will be broken. You fear the Jedi, and rightly so. If Atris learns of your choices, you will never leave this place. But whatever fear you hold of the Jedi, know that if you disobey me, that my punishment will make you beg for the death that has long hounded you. Wipe the fear from your mind. You will not find blind obedience a difficult master. You chose it once. You will learn to embrace it again.
I don't know how you became such a manipulative witch, but why a vicious old scowl like yourself would even bother with me is a bigger mystery.
No game of Dajaric can be won without pawns, and this may prove to be a very long game. You are a slippery one. Your thoughts difficult for even one such as I to read. I suspect the self-loathing that squirms within you gives you a curious strength. Your spirit, as diseased as it is, refuses to allow you to give up, no matter what threats you face and whatever wreckage you leave behind you. I feel you have crossed our path for a reason. Perhaps even you, at the right moment, may be able to turn aside disaster. If so, your potential is not yet spent.
Fine. I'll be your pawn. But I still think you've got the wrong man.
Perhaps. But someone has to fly the ship, and the Force is a hard thing to predict. You have crossed our path for a reason. Our path brought us here for a reason, and now I know why. The past is here, and it must be met before the future can be set in motion.
More Jedi speak. Care to explain?
No. I've wasted enough time with you. Sleep, murderer, and be silent. I need no distractions. A critical moment approaches.
Now listen! That's called motherfucking bars! You know nothing about that!
Here's where you get to meet Atris, a Jedi who despises you for going to war and was the one who stole your ship. She also has your lightsaber.
I did not expect to see you again after the day of your sentencing. I thought you had taken the exile's path, wandering the galaxy. Yet you have returned. Why? Yet here you are. Perhaps you do not know yourself as well as you think. Have you come to face the judgment of the Council?
I'm not going to go over what Atris has to say to the player, but I will go over what my reaction is after talking to her.
Shut up, bitch!
I tire of fighting with you. You lust for war, and you always will, and you have succeeded in distracting me from my questions. Take your ship, then. I don't care where you go, just leave this place. Leave Telos.
We shall remove him, mistress. Come with us.
Inside the academy, you can also participate in a variety of activities, such as questioning women.
Why have you approached me?
Harassing them afterwards.
Hey, do all these women look alike? Not like I'm complaining, I mean, it's interesting.
Idris has said that if Revan and Malak had been properly instructed in the ways of the Jedi, they never would have fallen, and nor would you, Exile. She predicted you would say as much. She seems to know you quite well. Perhaps you are the one who knows nothing.
And you can proceed to beat him up for not answering those questions the way you wanted them answered.
I would welcome a chance to instruct you. I have been anxious to teach you many principles of combat ever since you invaded this place. We knew you were no match for us, yet you decided you would try anyway.
This is also where you will meet with another potential party member, Handmaiden.
You are the Exile, the one Atris warned us about.
Handmaiden's story, from what I picked up from talking to her, is that she's the weakest of her sisters, due to her having a different mother and the rest of them. I mentioned that she's a potential party member because Obsidian decided to gender lock Handmaiden alongside with another character that I'm not gonna have time to go over in this video. What that means though, is that if you are playing a female character, you will not be able to bring Handmaiden with you, and vice versa.
Mistress, you summoned me.
I have a task for you. The Exile is dangerous. I'm concerned that he was able to return to Republic space and reach Telos without my knowledge. What is done, but now I need you to travel with him.
Mistress,
I realize what I'm asking of you, and I am asking that you keep your purpose a secret, even from your sisters. I need someone to watch the Exile closely, and let me know if he contacts the Sith. More importantly, I need you to study him closely. I need to know what he thinks, what he does. Earn his trust. Get him to confide in you.
I will do as you ask, Mistress. But Mistress, the Exile did not seem to pose a threat to us.
Ah, but he does. Do not be fooled by the exterior. It is his nature you must beware. He fell to the dark side once. He will do so again. I am trusting you with this task, last of my handmaidens. Do not disappoint me. The galaxy, the Jedi, may depend on it.
One thing I noticed that was implemented by the restored content mod is that you will actually get a different cutscene depending on how you talk to Atris. She will either send the handmaiden after you to spy on you, or the handmaiden can actually decide to run away from Atris and join you willingly. This is just one of the few things that was added back into the game that's questionable on why it was left out in the first place. After leaving the academy, you will finally be back inside the Ebon Hawk. From here the game opens up and allows you to pick and choose from a few planets where your next destination would be. I usually pick Nar Shaddaa as my first destination, only because I blindly follow what the other tells me to do. And with that, we're done with Telos, for now. While KOTOR 2 starts out a little slow, do not be discouraged by the first few levels, as it is all character and world building for the player. The game opens up after Telos and becomes one of Obsidian's peak storytelling experiences that I think everyone should go through and play at least once, especially if you still like Star Wars and aren't happy with the recent stuff that's been coming out from the franchise. And with that, I'll see you later.